In the heart of East Africa, one man's rise from the jungle altered the fate of millions. Uganda, once seen as the Pearl of Africa, became a battlefield of power, betrayal, and ambition. For over 30 years, a political saga unfolded, with the world watching in silence. But what really happened behind the closed doors of power? And how did one leader tighten his grip while the nation held its breath? The journey began in 1986, when Yoweri Museveni, a young guerrilla fighter, emerged from the bush with promises of democracy and stability after toppling the brutal regime of Milton Obote. He was hailed as a savior, a liberator who would restore peace to a country that had been torn apart by years of civil war and dictatorships. For the first decade, Museveni's leadership seemed to bear fruit. The economy showed signs of recovery, and a semblance of peace returned. His government introduced policies aimed at modernizing Uganda, opening doors to foreign investments, and expanding infrastructure. The international community applauded Museveni's vision, painting him as a model leader for Africa. But as the years passed, cracks began to show. Museveni, who once preached term limits and democracy, started shifting the goalposts. Constitutional amendments were made to allow him to extend his stay in power, first removing term limits in 2005, and then in 2017 eliminating age limits, ensuring his continued rule into his 70s. Opposition voices grew louder, but so did the government's response. Each election, instead of marking a democratic process, turned into a battleground. Prominent opposition leaders like Dr. Kizza Besigye, once Museveni's personal physician, became symbols of resistance. Their arrests, house arrests, and political persecution became a cycle as the government branded them enemies of the state. The 2020 election saw the rise of a new political star, Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobi Wine, a musician turned politician who symbolized the hopes and dreams of Uganda's youthful population. His message of change electrified the masses, but it also terrified the establishment. The election campaign turned violent, with widespread arrest of Bobi Wine's supporters, shutdowns of media, and the military patrolling the streets. The 2021 election resulted in yet another victory for Museveni, though many claimed it was rigged. Underneath it all, a deeper political strategy emerged. Museveni wasn't just holding on to power, he was preparing a succession plan. His son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, steadily rose through the military ranks, and rumors swirled that Museveni was grooming him to take over, ensuring a family dynasty. The intriguing twist, as Uganda's political narrative tightened, questions began to arise: was Museveni still in control, or had his system of governance become a machine beyond his grasp? What if Museveni's greatest political threat wasn't the opposition, but from within his own ranks? The regime, once built on unity, now faced an internal power struggle. The deeper one looks, the clearer it becomes that Uganda's future might be decided not in the streets, but in shadowy corridors of power. Conclusion: 30 years on, Museveni's iron grip on Uganda remains, but the winds of change are ever present. The political chessboard is set, and as new pieces move into place, one must ask, is Uganda on the brink of a dramatic shift, or will the status quo continue for yet another decade? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: Uganda's political saga is far from over, and the next chapter may be its most explosive yet.